Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about constriction and expansion. In our day-to-day lives, we rush through everything that we need to do. We get over busy, we get overwhelmed, and we're not really taught about pausing and really paying attention to what causes constriction within our body and what causes expansion. And so, what I mean by this truly is that there are so many situations in our lives that cause these tiny little micro constrictions in our bodies. And what that does is causes muscle tension, causes our shoulders to go up, it causes our lungs to constrict and our heart rates to go up because we get these little moments where we go, oh, I don't like that. I don't want to do that. And essentially, these are often what we'd call the uncomfortable emotions. So when we start to feel irritated or frustrated or angry, when we're starting to feel impatient or urgency in any way, our body really does pull back away from that experience. So, how I notice it in my body, number one, is absolutely in my jaw. I get so much tension in my jaw. But I also start to notice at times that I pull my feet up and I clench my legs as I'm sort of constricting and pulling back from the experience that I'm not so happy about in my life. And yet, most of us are seeking and questing the feeling of expansion in our lives because that feels so good. It feels like this heart opening. It feels like our shoulders move back, that we can hold our heads up high. And these are the good emotions. So, joy and contentment and excitement and fun and all of these things. And yet, we spend more time often in the constriction than we do the expansion. And so oftentimes it's nice to take a pause and take a breath and acknowledge some of that constriction in our life so that we can remind our body to relax and come back into that expansion because it feels better in our bodies and in our minds to be in an expansion. If we translate this from our bodies even and think about our minds, when we're in that constriction place within our thoughts and our ideas, we get racing thoughts, we get rumination, we get stuck on things, we need to double check things. It looks a little bit obsessive compulsive at times because we're trying to essentially control a situation. Where expansion in our mind also feels like the flow of ideas and creativity and connection. And it feels like we can let our mind and our ideas flow in and flow out rather than getting really stuck and held on a long standing belief around something. And yet, if we don't slow down and take these moments to be mindful, we run through our whole day not really paying attention to the constant constriction and expansion all the time that is happening. So another thing as humans that we're quite guilty of is saying, but I just want the expansion. I don't want any of the constriction. And so we get into this very black and white thinking about it is either one or the other. The fact of the matter is it's always both. We're always constricting, we're always expanding. And one of the lovely things about mindfulness and breath work is that essentially our lungs, this is what they do all day long. And so the more we can pay attention to that breath moving in and out of our bodies, as well as what emotions or thoughts do in terms of that, we can come back to that breath in the flow of that constriction and expansion. So let's even try it here for a minute. I want you to think about a situation that is mildly annoying to you at this point in time. And perhaps close your eyes and just bring up the person or the situation that's causing a little bit of a disturbance for you in your system. And as you think about that, just notice what happens within your breath and your body. Sometimes it's not even a huge difference, but can you notice the slight constriction that happens within that moment as you're thinking about that? And now taking a nice big deep breath in, I want you to think about something that truly makes you joyful. And one of the easiest ways to do this is to think about, a place you love to vacation, or a pet you love very much, or a child. And just notice what happens within our heart, within our lungs, as we expand into that place. There's just more room in the body to move. And so we need to come back to the breath over and over again to remember this place of expansion. And then also realize that at least 50% of the time, we're also going to be in constriction. I hope this helps and that you're able to spend just a little bit more time being mindful about this. I hope you'll join me on the next video. Please comment, like, and subscribe. It truly helps me out. And we'll see you on the next video.